of round number 1 of the AMA 125 National Motocross Series. Hello everyone, I'm Jan Beekes, and joining us, making his ESPN debut, that's right, it's Damon Bradshaw. This rider has won 19 Supercross events, 10 outdoor nationals, but we haven't seen you at the racetrack. Welcome back.
Thanks, Sean. It's good to be back again. I think everyone has been wondering, if I was going to have anything to do with the sport again, and, here I am. And I've also been riding, doing a little bit of testing. I'm thinking about racing again.
Good to see you back on a motorcycle, but even better to have him with us here in the booth. Now, Damon Huffman has been dominant in 125 Supercross, but now we're on the Outdoor National Series. How much different is that, and how do you think he'll do?
Well, it's definitely different, but he's coming in with a lot of confidence, and that's going to help him. Only, the difference is 125 outdoors are going to last a little longer. They got 2 motos, and it's going to obviously be warmer in Gainesville, I think. But I think he's going to definitely be a factor.
We've had other changes in the 125 Nationals. Some riders have gone up to 250. Jeff Emig on a Yamaha, Ezra Lusk on a Suzuki, and last year's champion Doug Henry on a Honda. A couple guys have gone the other way. Brian Swink, Michael Craig from Honda of Troy have gone from the 250 to the 125. How much different is that?
Well, the bikes are definitely different. In my opinion, I think it takes a little more effort to ride the 125, so those guys are going to kind of have to adapt to that and put some time on the 125.
Well, another guy putting time on a 125 is Steve Lamson. He rides 250 in Supercross. Maybe he'll be the favorite, being second in the points from last year. Let's take a look at the racetrack.
Well, Jan, over the years, this track has gotten harder and harder, and there's right here on the top left-hand part of the screen, there's a big, long straightaway and then a drop-off into that real slick, fast sweeper over there. And then we also have the elevator shaft come out of a left-hand sweeper and then try to jump up the hill there. And over at the finish line, there's a big double kind of going back down into the Gator pit for the right-hand turn before the finish line.
After the finish line, of course, we have a sweeper where you can take many lines. There's big elevation changes, but you can tell by this shot there could be changing weather. We'll be back for Moto number 1. This edition of Power Wheels on ESPN2 is brought to you by Flashback. Here at the Gatorback Cycle Park, the year is 1984. Number 1, Johnny O'Mara, gets buried in the field in the first turn. The man with the hole shot was number 4, Jeff Ward, who's now gone on to an auto racing career, and a promising one at that. He's doing very well in the Indy Light Series. There's Johnny O'Mara, 5th place at the moment, but he would close that gap down to 2nd place, but not close enough to pass and take the victory from Jeff Ward, who went on to win 1 of his 11 national victories. You're taking a look at Steve Lamson, 2nd in the points last year. Mike Goslar, his mechanic, looking on, getting ready, preparing the dirt for that all-important start, Damon.
Yeah, you can see some guys there are raking some dirt and hole, and then there's Kevin's raking it out to get down to some hard ground.
Kevin Windham, the young superstar from the Yamaha team, his mechanic, Ali Seymour, and there's Bob Hanna looking on as well from the Yamaha camp. Brian Swink.
Yeah, it looks like Brian there keeps his hair short for the hot summer there in Gainesville.
Well, I guess his hair has even been shorter than that, and his mechanic, Marshall Plum, looking on. Another guy to look out for would be Ryan Hughes, and his mechanic, Chad Watts, getting ready for the start here of Moto number 1. 119 riders tried to make this field. This is a starting grid: Huffman, Windham, Pichon, Decker, and then, of course, as we go through the pages, we see some other fast guys: Pingree, Gonzalez, Brown, Pedersen, Yezik, Cooper, Antonez, Karsten, Sheik. We'll show you the top 20, but there'll be 40 starting this one. Of course, we're looking for the all-important hole shot here. First moto of the year, Moto number 1, as they come into the big sweeper. As we look back to the field, a couple riders tangle. We see that's 31, Buddy Antonez. Looks like Gonzalez, number 32. Another rider involved. Right now, it looks like, Damon, they're okay, but a couple guys trying to get their breath.
Well, when you got 40 guys coming in this first turn, it gets tight, and it gets tight quick.
Well, it certainly does get tight quick, but look how quick this man is. Damon Huffman got the hole shot. Not just in Supercross, he's done it here in outdoors. We saw Lamson and Hughes also with great starts. There's Huffman. Hughes is making a move on Lamson for 2nd.
Yeah, these guys are trying to, I think, get into sync and get away from the slower guys there so they can start racing for this next 30 minutes.
Well, these 3 guys were certainly some of the favorites, and they all got good starts today. Right there, number 12, that's Damon Huffman on a Suzuki, followed by Lamson on a Honda, and then Hughes on a Kawasaki. Very hard here, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a real fast straightaway that we're talking about in the beginning, and it gets real slick, but there's a lot of passing going on here.
When it's hard packed like that, you can't really carry the speed to the sweeper you want to, can you?
Yeah, you just kind of got to slide the bike and hope you don't hit any holes that you weren't expecting.
A little bit like flat track racing. Then they come to this portion of the track. Looks a little bit rutted, David.
Yeah, this track is getting pretty worn, it looks like, as the weekend goes on. I think between the amateur guys and then these guys running practice and the qualifiers, the track's starting to get pretty beat.
Now, this is a long moto. How hard are these guys pushing? Obviously, they got the kind of starts that they wanted. Right now, it looks like they're going all out.
Yeah, it looks like right now they think they're racing for 5 laps. But usually the 125 class starts off really fast like that. But I think once they get into sync here, the race will, they'll get a pace, and that'll kind of what they'll stick to for a little while.
Now, Damon Huffman has started off fast in Supercross and then continued fast right through the moto. There's Mike Brown starting to close the gap, moving up there also. Do you think he can do that here for the long distance of outdoors?
Yeah, well, I think he also needs to be thinking about that. It's like we said in the beginning, they're going from Supercross to the outdoor. But, if it was me and I'm at the first race, I try to pace myself and wait and let the race come to me.
Now, here's a big double here. Really have to fly to make this one. Some of the 250s really crank off of that one. A little sandier in this part of the track?
Yeah, I think this is kind of like Sill. Just over the years, this dirt has kind of went to nothing. And we have this real rough straightaway right up before the finish line.
That was a great angle. We saw Ryan Hughes. He's using a little bit of English there on the bike as it gets in the air. We see Kevin Windham just past Brown right there for position.
Yeah, these guys are coming back around right before a real steep left-hand drop-off that we haven't really had a chance to talk about. But over the years, it's gotten actually smaller than what it used to be.
It looks like Steve Lamson is starting to make a run here on Damon Huffman. They're side by side as they approach this jump. They fly in the air together. Let's see who lands in the lead. It looks like Lamson has taken over the lead of moto number 1.
John, it looks like you got a better drive out of that bottom. I actually think you had a different line, and that's a good place to pass out of that bottom because you can go in and inside and outside so many different times.
We got a look of Jeff Stanton, their former Supercross champion, now a consultant for Honda, cheering on Steve Lamson. Let's take a look at the replay, Damon.
Looks like Lammy went to the outside down there and just got a little bit better drive than Huffman did come up through there. And looks like, they're getting a little bit close there. Well, they're going to go over this jump next corners to the right. Almost looks like Huffman would have the advantage.
Huffman had the inside, but it looked like he just let Lamson go through. Right now, Huffman seems content to follow Lamson in second.
Well, I think maybe he noticed Lamson was getting pretty close to him, so maybe he's going to just try to run his lines for a little bit and see if it helps him out.
Well, these two guys have not raced together this year, and we're coming... Oh, Ryan Hughes almost... He keeps it going. He only lost a couple of seconds. Man, he was doing a Superman there. He was flying off the back of the bike.
It looks like he's been practicing that. That was pretty good.
Well, we know that Jeremy McGrath kind of does that as a trick, but look at this, David.
Looks like Hughes sit down a little bit too early up on the seat. You can see Huffman was still up off the seat, and I think that's part of the reason they about went over the bars.
But that was a miracle. He was able to hang on to that bike. We mentioned McGrath actually does that as a trick. He's done it in Europe in a Supercross off of a triple, calls it the Superman. These two guys, Hughes and McGrath, ride together, but he didn't plan for that one, did he?
No, I don't think so. Hopefully it didn't hurt himself so he can get himself back together and be in there for the end of this moto.
Well, one guy who's not having problems is right there, Steve Lamson on the Honda, approaching the finish line jump. Looks like he's pulling away, Damon.
Yeah, it looks like he is getting away a little bit, but Huffman may be just dropping back to stay out of the roost, but it looks like these other guys are right there.
Well, we'll be back to see what happens in a moment. Gatorback Cycle Park. I'm Jan Beekes along with Damon Bradshaw and Art Ekman in the pits as we see the battle is closing down. There's Mike Brown starting to close in on Ryan Hughes, and there's Kevin Windham. He looks strong.
Yeah, these guys hadn't even really separated yet. They're still, looks like there's 10 or 15 guys right in there.
Well, Kevin Windham certainly has a nice, smooth style, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. I think Kevin's just kind of, like you said, it's the first race of the year, and he's waiting to see where things are going to map out, and hopefully he'll put in a charge.
Do you think he has the endurance? Oh, wow, it looks like number 22, Robbie Rayner, just put a move on him big time.
Yeah, I don't know if Kevin's going to, if he has quite the endurance. I think in the Supercross, I think he's still been struggling a little bit, but he's definitely got the speed and the talent.
Well, we wondered about Robbie Rayner because he was injured in Orlando in a Supercross. He says he's only 75% fit, but boy, he looks fit there.
Yeah, 75% on Gainesville would kind of worry me.
Well, we're looking at Mike Brown right now, putting in a very strong performance. He's 4th place in the Supercross 125 West Series. His best finish of 5th. He looks better here in the outdoors.
Yeah, he's doing real good. Hopefully Mike can last these two motos. These two finishes would probably help his confidence a lot.
Well, certainly some of these guys really love the outdoors because it is a different discipline. How much different do you have to pace yourself here outdoors as opposed to Supercross?
Well, it'd be nice if you could just run 2 35-minute motos wide open, but I don't think there's a lot of guys that might tell you they can. But for me and for some of the other guys, it seems like we'd pace ourselves and just try to work through the race and be there at the end, because at the end, a lot of the other guys are starting to die down.
Another guy we're taking a look at there is number 22, Robbie Raynard. He's ridden here a lot in the past, and earlier Art Ekman asked him if that helped him.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit easier. It gives you a little bit more confidence in the track and yourself. And I know I can ride this track, and I'm not looking for other things. And it's just the confidence, I think, is the biggest thing. And I feel pretty comfortable on this track. It's high speed, and I liked it a little bit better when it was sandier, but I'll still ride it.
Robbie Raynard is one of those riders that has experience, but right there, Mikael Pichon is new this year to these tracks. How tough is that, Damon?
Well, it's pretty tough. Hopefully the pro circuit guys have got the video camera out there and videoing some guys like Raynard, and so he can check out some of those lines that he can't see.
Now, but Pichon has been doing very well in Supercross, but this must be similar to what he's used to riding in Europe.
Yeah, I think it is similar in a lot of ways, but again, you know, he's at a different racetrack, a different atmosphere, so he's kind of got to get used to everything.
Pichon is 19 years old. He comes from France, and a lot of people think he's going to be a star of the future. What kind of style does he have? Is he another one of these guys that's real smooth on the bike?
Looks like here today he's riding really smooth. He seems to be not making any mistakes whatsoever, and he looks to be real smooth like Bale.
Well, Jean-Michel Bale, certainly a rider who made a name for himself coming across from Europe with 12 outdoor national victories. I would have to say a lot of people are saying this young Frenchman may be the Jean-Michel Bale of the future. But he's got quite a ways to catch up to this man, Steve Lamson, our leader, taking it just a little easy on that hard part of the track.
Yeah, he's just trying to stay real smooth and keep a good steady pace out in front of these guys.
Well, it gets really hard and slick there. Oh, look, Ryan Hughes has made a move on Damon Huffman for second place. There's no love lost between these two. I bet they don't send Christmas cards, Damon.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't do that. These guys here are racing, and like we said, I think this moto is still young, and they're all kind of still filling each other out, but it looks like they're going pretty fast.
Well, a few years back, these two have spent some time banging handlebars and had strong words for each other, but they've mended their ways. They're not best of friends, but they don't like when the other guy beats them. Right there, that's the elevator. The 125s, Damon, are just taking it one, but the 250s sail the whole thing.
Yeah, I think so. The 250's got a little more grunt out of that bottom, but these guys here, it's probably, I think it's a little bit faster, but probably not a whole lot.
Ryan Hughes there seems like he's pulling away from Damon Huffman. He was not able to beat him in Supercross, but he's leading him right now in outdoors. Pichon right now seems as though Robbie Raynard may be closing down on him. Robbie Raynard says he's only 75%. Boy, looks strong to me. Well, there's our leader, Steve Lamson, and Art Ekman down in the pits has caught up to his mechanic, Mike Gosselar.
Mike, a fine start, took over the lead early. Now it's a matter of endurance.
Yeah, just a matter of relaxing and riding his own pace and not getting worried about what's going on behind him. Still, we got about 25 minutes left, so it's a long ways.
So you're going to be cautious on advice in this moment, huh?
Yeah, I'm just basically going to tell him his lap time, so he can just concentrate on that instead of concentrating on what's happening behind him.
You happy with the lap times?
Yeah, they're real good. They're even better than practice, and in practice, he was setting, I think, the fastest times.
Well, the fastest times will always take you to the front, as it has for Steve Lamson. We take a look at the Suzuki Field Summary. We'll be right back. At the Gatorback Cycle Park, Jan Beekes, Damon Bradshaw, and Art Ekman in the pits. We take a look at the Frenchman, Mikael Pichon, and Robbie Raynard right now seems as though he's mounting a challenge. We talked earlier, he, by his own admission, is only 75%, but he doesn't look like it here, Damon.
No, he definitely does. It looks like he's running a real strong pace. His shoulder must not be giving him any trouble whatsoever.
Well, sometimes they'll say they're 75%, so the other guys might back off. And right now, Pichon doesn't look like he's backing off. We'll have to see how his endurance is. Steve Lamson's endurance certainly doesn't seem in question.
Yeah, Lammy still looks real strong. He's always been known to be strong. He doesn't even look like he's really charging that hard, but his pace is staying real steady, and that's what puts him there at the end of the race. He's also making that transition real well from the 250 Supercross to the 125 outdoor. 125 takes a little more effort to ride, but he's making that change well.
With his teammate Doug Henry going to the 250 class this year, Steve Lamson feels this may be his year. His mechanic, Mike Gosselar, and he are working very hard, thinking that with the great battles they had last year and a little better luck, they might do it. This was how the season was last year. Teammate Doug Henry and Steve Lamson trading positions back and forth. This was at Southwick. The whole race was like this. If it wasn't for a couple crashes later in the season, it could have been anyone's title.
Yeah, I was too close last year. I threw it away a couple times and had a couple bad crashes. So I learned from those and move on. And now I'm going to, go out for the win and get a good points lead.
Other riders going for points this season, Mike Craig and Brian Swink of Honda of Troy, coming from the 250 down to the 125 class. Damon Huffman has dominated Supercross, and Lamson knows there will be challengers.
Yeah, it is. It was last year, too, and a couple guys got out of it for this year. They go the 250s, Doug and Jeff Emig, but there's a couple more guys in the 125s now, so it's going to be interesting. It'll be good racing, and I'm going to hope for myself to be out in front, every time.
Lemmy's goal is to be out front, and he is out front right now at Gainesville.
Well, he is certainly riding the way he had hoped he would in the 125 class. Does it help him to have ridden so far this year in 250 Supercross, or does he have to relearn everything?
Well, I would think there would be a disadvantage because most of the other guys have already been riding the 125 Supercross, but as you can see, it's no disadvantage to him.
Now, you said it's actually harder as we're looking back through the field and seeing Pichon, Reynard. Why is it harder to ride? Do you have to just keep the revs up more?
Well, I think it's just the bike's down on power, and you have to keep your momentum going a lot and keep the bike on the power band. You can't rely back on the horsepower.
So a lot of using the clutch as well to try and keep it up on the power?
Yeah, the clutch, your body, everything else, and you hit a lot of holes that you probably wouldn't hit on a 250.
Well, right there we can see Ryan Hughes flying across that double. That's one the 250 guys do. Ooh, we see right there Lamson getting a little squirrely coming off of there.
Yeah, it looks like his back tire just broke loose and he got a little sideways.
Well, he may have lost a little time because we have a battle for the lead. Ryan Hughes has closed in. We see his mechanic right there, Chad Watts. Breathe. How important is that?
It's real important to breathe. He just doesn't want him to get caught up in the battle and be holding his breath.
Well, these guys, sometimes when they get nervous, they do hold their breath. And Art Ekman, once he goes by, is going to try and get a word here with Chad.
Chad, you reminded your rider to breathe and to stay strong. It's a matter of strength right now, isn't it?
Yeah, these front three guys are really setting a fast pace right now, and it's it's very important to breathe and keep your rhythm going.
Does he have the endurance?
He's got it more than anybody out there, I think.
I think Chad's right. Ryan's really strong from what I understand. I think he trains real hard, and that means a lot when you come here to Gainesville on this rough track.
Well, he trains hard, he rides hard, but look at Damon Huffman. He's closed the gap. First, we thought that Ryan Hughes was closing in on Lamson, but now the real battle is for second place. But you got to be careful here, Damon.
Yeah, that's a real hard-packed left-hand sweeper we've been talking about all day, but those guys seem like they get through there pretty smooth.
Any of these guys have flat track experience? I guess that would help you there, huh? That's very similar to their style.
It would definitely help there on that part of the track, but it also gets bumpy through there, so it's almost kind of hard to slide the bike, and you hit potholes here and there.
We see Damon Huffman right now, who obviously has his sights set on Ryan Hughes, but Ryan Hughes desperately wants to beat Damon. He hasn't done it all year in Supercross. Now he has a chance to do it in outdoors. The only real difference would be endurance, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. That's what's going to separate the guys right now. It looks like Huffman's riding really smooth. I don't know if Ryan's just kind of riding the edge right now, but Huffman looks really smooth, and that's going to mean a lot because the smoother you are, the less energy you use.
Now, we talk about saving energy. How much energy does it take? I mean, right now, talking about energy, Mike Craig has crashed on that section of the track that we talked about, the very hard-packed sweeper. Looks like the wind got knocked out of him.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to sit down there and get a breath there, but that ground around there is so hard, and you're going so fast, and, I don't know really what happened, if he came off the drop-off and got sideways or just slid out.
One guy who's not sliding out right now is Ryan Hughes, who looks like he put a little distance on Damon Huffman that lap. Of course, this is seesawing back and forth, the best battle on the circuit. There's our leader on a Honda, Steve Lamson. Now we see Ryan Hughes, and popping into the picture, he was on the right-hand side. Believe me, he's there. That's Damon Huffman. He's closing the gap, trying to go for the inside. Looks like he's trying to make a move. And there's an inspiration for you. Tony Berluti says, go for him. Get Hughes now, and then go to the front. Art, what's he have to say?
Tony, great start for your rider, and he's hanging in there well.
Yeah, he's riding pretty well. The Suzuki got an excellent start. They're running really good. He's pretty happy.
Do you think you can catch Hughes?
I think he might be able to get Hughes, but then we got to work on Lamson. But I think he will before the race is over.
Lap times are quick.
Yeah, they're picking up. They're all running about the same lap times as they were at the beginning, so they're all running pretty strong.
Did he have much time to test in the outdoors?
Yeah, we did a lot of testing. Roger DeCoster's been working really hard, and all of our team has been working really hard, and we're trying really hard.
Tony mentioned Roger DeCoster, Damon. How important is an ex-rider and team manager to these riders?
Well, it's real important. The team manager can sit back and watch and see different lines on the track and give those guys information that a lot of times as a rider you can't see.
It looked like Damon Huffman had a nice drive, and then he had to kind of back off, got a little bit offline. That's the section of the track that seems to be a bit rutted. This is the best battle on the track right now. This is a battle we've seen many times in all different types of venues. Supercross, outdoors, these guys desperately want to beat each other.
You see Huffman tried a different line there to set up on the inside.
Well, maybe he has a chance. He goes for the inside, and oh, is he going to hold on? Yes. Damon Huffman goes through for second place. Now we'll find out if he can draw away from Ryan Hughes, if he was saving anything for the end. Boy, he goes to work right away and pulls out about a 2-bike length gap.
Huffman kind of set him up in the turn before. You could see he kind of went outside, inside, and then he has advantage right here being on the inside in the right-hand corner.
Taking the inside is the key. Taking the line away from the other rider certainly worked well there for Damon Huffman, who now, according to his mechanic, Tony Berluti, has his sights set on Lamson. Damon has followed his mechanic's instructions to the T. We'll have to see if he can close that gap on our leader, Steve Lamson. Now we give you a chance to spot your favorite rider on our Suzuki Field Summary. And we'll be back for the conclusion. Michael Park, Jan Beekes, Damon Bradshaw, and Art Ekman in the pits. And we see, Damon, that Ryan Hughes may be fading somewhat. Robbie Reynard's closing in.
Yeah, it looks like Reynard is catching Hughes. Remember, Reynard's only 75% here, but he's catching Hughes.
Well, at 75%, he's certainly riding hard. Hughes goes to the outside, then changes his mind, decides to go for the inside line. Is that the quicker way?
Yeah, it looks like Reynard's trying to set Hughes up for a pass.
Well, they come up here. Let's see if he goes for a pass. He goes to the outside. He's trying it around the outside. This will put him on the inside for the next corner. And yes, Robbie Reynard goes through and takes position from Ryan Hughes. Looks like Ryan's tiring, like we said earlier.
Yeah, it looks like he's starting to get a little bit sloppy. He's starting to get toward the end of this moto, and maybe he's just wanting to survive. Here we go. It's kind of leading up to this pass here. This outside line does look a little better. The rut's not near as deep, and it's actually a lot smoother and sets you up for the right-hand corner on the inside. That was a good pass.
Robbie Reynard is hoping to rebound after crashing in Orlando and hurting himself, and Art Ekman has a chance to find out about that from his father.
Robert, from his amateur days, we knew he loved this track, but this is a phenomenal performance considering he hasn't had that much practice after the injury.
I can't believe he's doing this good. I was hoping for a top 10, but man, I don't know. I gotta go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
There's one nervous and excited father cheering for Robbie Reynard, but this man takes the white flag signifying the last lap. What does he have to do on this final lap, Damon?
Well, basically keep it on two wheels and keep his head on straight and just concentrate on making this lap really smooth.
Now, sometimes can you not get into trouble if you try and slow down? Don't you have to keep the pace up?
Well, basically, you just want to keep it on two wheels, not necessarily slow down, but try to keep that same pace because you're right, you can start making mistakes.
We have heard stories of riders who try to back off and just make sure they get across the finish, and they lose that concentration. But right now, Lamson is hoping he loses no concentration, and this man, Robbie Reynard, certainly looks like he's well healed from injury.
Yeah, Robbie's getting a real good, solid ride this first moto. We'll see what he's got left in the second moto. Third place, he's got to be happy.
Well, a guy who's very happy is our leader, Steve Lamson. Doesn't have far to go, is on the final lap. He was hoping he could build a points lead, we heard earlier, and of course he's starting off just that way. But Damon, we have two motos. It's not just one race.
Yeah, that's right. This first moto is definitely a good start for Lammy, but the second moto is also going to count.
Here he comes across the finish line. Steve Lamson comes home, our victor in moto number 1. We see Art Ekman run across the track before Damon Huffman finishes second. Of course, he'll be going to Victory Circle. But first, let's take a look at the final results. Lamson, Huffman, Reynard, Hughes, and Pichon round out the top 5. The second 5, of course, Brown, Swink, Jezek, Pingree, and Tim Ferry. Let's go to Art Ekman, who's with our winner.
Giving your teammate Doug Henry a little advice before the 250?
Yeah, just kind of telling him some of the good lines because it's kind of hard because he hasn't been out there for a while. So just kind of want to give a few pointers where I thought they'd changed a lot in practice.
Steve, obviously, with the consistent lap times that you had, you made the good lines. Where did you find that you could pick up the time on the track?
Well, I just had to ride smooth the whole way, and I just had, towards the middle part of the race, I started getting some smoother lines, carrying a little more momentum. My mechanic Mike's going to tell me all day, you know, I got to stay with the momentum on a 125, so I did it.
Phenomenal way to start the season.
Thank you very much. I'll do the next moto hopefully too.
Thanks, Art. In second place is Damon Huffman. It's the first time this year he's lost a race after dominating Supercross competition. And Art Ekman is with him now.
The endurance of motocross is adverse to Supercross, Damon. Great race for you after a wonderful start.
Yeah, I got the whole shot. That's second year in a row here at the first national, but I did a little better too. I got second. I think Lammy was maybe a little more ready than I was, but this is only the first moto of the year, and there's lots more to go.
What part of the track now are you going to focus on in the second moto that gave you some problems in his first one?
Probably the high-speed areas. You know, I seem really good in the tight stuff, but it's a wide open hanging on part. I got to hang it out a little more.
We'll see how much he hangs it out when we come back for moto number 2 from Gatorback Cycle Park. For getting ready for his start. Now there's a guy that's known for wild tricks, Damon.
Yeah, that's a nickname Coop-de Loop there. He's like rubber ball, man. He can crash and flip and cartwheel and get back up on the bike, still finish the race.
Another guy we'll be looking for here preparing for the start is Michael Craig, one of the Honda Troy entries. And to our left is number 5 and winner of moto number 1, Steve Lamson. Let's now go to a Honda riding tip with Ben Cheatwood and Doug Henry.
I'm Ben Cheatwood, and joining me for the Honda riding tip is two-time national motocross champion Doug Henry. Doug, how important is walking the track before you ride?
It's very important. Most of all, safety. You know, if they go out there and change the track, you want to be out there and know what you're up against. Also, there's there's advantages and disadvantages to a track. You know, a face of a jump can look even all the way across, but there may be a low spot or a high spot, and you want to stay low on all the jumps. So you aim for that low spot every time and try to avoid the high spot. And also, if you get out there and you get a good start, or if you don't get a good start, you're going to need a place to pass, and to go out there and find different lines and be creative, try to go around the rough stuff, because a lot of times the rough stuff, it could be the fastest line, but also going around the stuff will save energy, and it could also be even faster.
Part of the winning combination is walking the track before you race. For the Honda riding tip, I'm Ben Cheatwood with Doug Henry.
Thanks, Ben. Well, here at ESPN, Damon, we don't have to walk the track because we can just look down from the helicopter and look below, because here comes the start of moto number 2. They're away, all 40 riders, and then we'll go back downstairs and see who gets the whole shot. As we watch them come through the first turn, we'll see if any of these riders get tangled. A couple are wide, but at least they're all up on 2 wheels. Look, Craig Decker, the man they call Triple Decker, has got the whole shot. Looks like Lamson might be in second.
Yeah, here we go off of that drop-off. You go from the top of the Gator pit off into the bottom and back up the other side.
We're getting some great shots from the helicopter. You can see how they're choosing different lines. The whole shot for the Suzuki, and right now Lamson is looking. We've got another Suzuki coming through to take second place. Great angle. Oh, and he's down. It's Tim Ferry, the 19-year-old from Palm Harbor, Florida. Looks like he's able to get the bike back up, but he's going to have to start from the back. He won here in Florida in the Orlando Supercross, but it's not going to happen today.
Yeah, he's definitely got his work cut out for him. Coming from behind the pack on this track, it being hard and dusty is going to be difficult.
You have to say, though, he was going for it. He went for second place, but it didn't work this time. Another great angle from the helicopter. You can see the hard pack sweeper, and we can see now that the Suzuki of Craig Decker is still in the lead with Lamson falling, and then we have another Suzuki coming into the picture now, replacing what used to be Tim. Oh, another Suzuki's having trouble. It seems like whoever goes for second, Damon, is struggling.
Yeah, this track you can really see where there's several lines in some of these corners, which is good. It makes it easier on the riders to pass, and also you can see how hard, and there are some rocks laying out there.
Craig Decker is another one of the 19-year-old stars from the American Suzuki camp. They're going through the elevator right now, and I'd have to say that Lamson, having won moto number 1, is kind of content just to follow him and save some energy.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's considering saving some energy because he knows this guy didn't finish in the top of the first moto, but yet he doesn't want all those other guys to run up behind him. So maybe best to get him around him and go on.
We have a chance now to look back through the field. There's Huffman. He was just behind Brown. Pichon. There's Wyndham. Some of the guys who had great starts before not doing too well. Look at Lamson. He's going for the lead, and he takes it. He moves past Decker, but Decker's not giving up. Decker comes back to the inside.
Maybe Lamson is going to go on around and try to run away from these guys and get him a comfortable lead.
Now, Craig Decker is a fast 125 rider. He's currently second in the points in Supercross. We'll have to see if he has the endurance to stay with Lammy.
Looks like Lammy there just pulled off his tear-off, so he's got a clear view ahead of him. I think he's going to try to go ahead and run away. I think these other guys, you can see there are some of the top finishers in the first moto.
We said there was a Suzuki in third, and it turns out it's Guy Cooper. Great start for him. We'll have to see if the former 125 national champion will be able to hang on to this podium spot. We have Lamson in front, and we have out on the outside Decker and Cooper. Raynard coming to the inside. Look, it looks like Lamson's in trouble. Lamson has now lost 2 places. He's down to 3rd, and Craig Decker goes back to the lead. I wonder if Lamson's got, yeah, he's dropped another position as Raynard goes by. I wonder if he's got a problem with his bike. Yeah,
Lammy's got to be having some sort of trouble. I don't know if he banged his knee or if he is having mechanical trouble.
Oh, look at that one. Craig Decker, our leader, has done a face plant into the side of the bank there. Ooh, I hope he's okay. That was a nasty one. But Guy Cooper now inherits the lead. Boy, it's fast and furious here in Moto number 2. We see Decker trying to get out of the way, and Brian Deegan T-bones him. Oh, man, things get worse for Decker.
Here in the replay, you can see it looks like he got a little sideways actually before he hit this wall. I think there's some rock probably on the face of that, and his rear tire just hit it, and his weight was forward.
It looks like he's okay there. I hope he's okay after getting hit by Brian Deegan. But we have a battle for the lead. Here's Robbie Raynard going to the inside on Guy Cooper.
Yeah, it looks like Cooper's not going to shut off, though, as normal. He'll, when he sees another rider, he likes to grab a handful.
Well, Robbie Raynard didn't. He got through. He's leading. We talked about him being not totally physically fit, but right now he's where he wants to be. He is in the lead, and hopefully now he can hang on.
Yeah, now Raynard needs to set a real good pace and run off from these guys as far as he can, and just in case the shoulder does give him some trouble.
We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Gatorback Cycle Park. Jan Beekes, Damon Bradshaw, and Art Ekman in the pits. You're looking at our leader, number 22, Robbie Raynard, who finished 3rd in the first moto. Now going to see if he can go for the overall. Looking back through the field, we see Swink. Also see we got Mike Brown there putting on the chase for the front.
These guys that are in the front of the pack this time weren't in the first moto, but that's good for Raynard. Raynard's probably thinking about last year here at Gainesville when he did similar to the same thing so far. So we'll wait and see.
Well, we got a quick look at David Pingree. Then we saw Damon Huffman, and there's Lamson still struggling. We don't know exactly what's wrong with the bike, but we certainly think he's got some kind of mechanical problem, and he's just trying to hang on.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a flat tire, Jan. That's something you kind of have to worry about on this hard-packed track.
Well, you can see it at the front of the bike. There's his mechanic, Mike Goslar. Doesn't look like he's sure what the problem is, but we think maybe here from the booth that he's got a flat front tire on that Honda. How long can he ride with a flat tire?
I don't know. It depends on what kind of tire they got on. They have some things they can do to where you really can't tell that much if you do have a flat tire, and you can keep riding it for a while.
Well, we're looking closely. It may not be totally flat, but we see riders moving past him. Oh, there he just kind of loses some traction. That had nothing to do with the front. Just looks like he's lost his rhythm.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think he really is too sure what's going on. If it is his front tire, he's taking it easy, especially. You can see how he's riding the outside, so he kind of has something to slide up against if the front tire gives out on him.
Well, you can certainly see he is taking it very steady there out on the outside, and we may have a chance. We have to check in with Art Ekman. Art Ekman has been looking into this Honda situation to find out what might be wrong with Lamson.
Ryan, what goes into the decision whether you pull him off or not?
Well, first of all, we got to make sure that he does have a flat. We've got difference of opinion, so when he comes by, I'm just going to hold the wheel out, and if he pulls in, then it's flat, and it's kind of up to him.
It looks as though the Honda team has the same information that we've been able to gather here in the booth. We'll have to see if Steve Lamson, when he sees that tire, if he decides to pull it in. We can see that Kevin Windham is catching him. Well, you could see when it was in the air that there's something not right with that front wheel, Damon.
Yeah, it looks like, I don't even know if it's the tire. It may be a combination of a tire and a broke wheel.
You can see Davey Yezik and also Kevin Windham putting a move on him there as we go up to Brian Swink, who runs in 2nd place at the moment, the 22-year-old Honda of Troy rider. Brian Swink now negotiates the sandy part of the track, squares it off, and there's our leader, Robbie Raynard, position number 1 on the Kawasaki. We'll look back for the interval to find out how far back. There he is. Brian Swink, number 2, then Guy Cooper in 3rd place. This is the closest battle on the track. Let's see if Lamson decides to pull in. He's had the sign. That's Wyatt Seals who has given him the sign. Let's see if he decides to pull in. We're waiting to find out if we'll have a tire change here. Well, that's Mike Healy. Maybe they thought that they were trying to wave him off the track. Not exactly what we were hoping there for Healy. But yes, Lamson has decided to come in. They'll try and change that front wheel.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. If there is something wrong with the wheel, there's no way he can ride the rest of the moto with it. So this is probably a smart thing for him to do, is come in and get a wheel and go back out and ride the best he can and get all the points he can.
But do you think there's even a chance he could score some points? He's going to drop all the way to the back here.
Yeah, he'll definitely score points. 1 point's better than none at the end of the year.
And how far back do you go to where you will score a point?
It will score points back to 20th place, and that's good. I think he can finish, you know, above 20th because it's still young in the moto.
Well, there's 40 riders out there, so if they do get this wheel changed, he's going to have to be totally on the gas to try and score points and see if he can salvage anything after winning that first motor. You could see him rip off the goggles there, knowing that there's a lot of points down the drain. But these guys, I'll tell you, they'll get this job done quick.
Yeah, they're working as fast as they can, and, you know, you get too much help in there, and then it kind of puts you further behind.
Steve, obviously one of the most frustrating situations you could possibly experience.
Yeah, I can't do nothing about it, but it sucks, I tell you that.
When did it happen? Off the big jump here?
First lap. And I knew it happened, and it's just time before it busted all apart, you know, so.
Looks like they're about ready to go. Boy, what quick work by the crew.
As you could hear, Lamson said that he busted apart, so he was obviously talking about the front wheel. And once the front wheel busts, there's no way he can jump anything or hit any of the holes, so it was smart that they came in.
You're looking at Mike Gosseler along with Wyatt Seals, and then up top was Cliff White, who's back with the team after being injured last year in a transporter explosion. Good to see him here. These guys certainly got those repairs done quickly. The final couple of bolts being tightened there, and Steve Lamson is back underway. We'll have to see if he can salvage any points here in Moto number 2. Going to the front, or I should say midfield, we see Mike Brown now in a battle with Damon Huffman. These two guys have not got the kind of starts that they hoped, and they're hoping that they can move up to the front, which right now, this race is being led by Robbie Raynard. We have Mike Brown going to the inside, and oh, now he slips to the outside. Looks like Huffman's going for the position.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. There's so many different lines back there you can actually run. So as you can see there, he went to the inside and took advantage.
Well, I think that Mike Brown wanted to take the inside line, but he just didn't have the traction, drifted out wide, and then we saw Huffman come through. Here's the field summary brought to you by Honda. We'll be back after this. Back to Gainesville, Florida, Gatorback Cycle Park, where we're watching Moto number 2. That's Mike Brown right now being chased by Ryan Hughes, who's trying to move through the field. They're side by side coming down into turn number 1. It looks like Hughes may have the right line.
Yep, he's got the inside line there. That line there is used a lot to pass because most of the guys want to use it outside because it seems faster.
Well, that was for 6th place. Ryan Hughes trying to make up for lost time. Didn't get the kind of start that he wanted. Remember, in Moto number 1, he was strong, he was up front, but then he faded. Looked like he tired.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll wait and see this time. I don't know if Brown is that strong this far into the moto or not. I know the first moto was put a beating on him, so we'll see. Uh-oh.
That's Craig Decker. He's the man who was leading early, had that huge crash with the face plant into the wall, and then hit by another rider. I wonder if that damaged the bike, Damon.
Yeah, I'd say there's a good chance of that because it hit him on the right side of the bike, and you know, that's where the pipe turns in and where some radio hoses are. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Guy Cooper taking the inside line, and then it looks like Damon Huffman taking the outside, and he takes the position away from the other Suzuki rider. You're seeing a factory bike there passing a privateer entry.
Yeah, Damon needs to get to the front of the pack as soon as he can because the other guys are starting to get away from him. If he's going to be a factor in the second moto, he's got to move.
Another guy making a move you saw in the background is number 101, Mikhail Pichon, the Frenchman who did well in the first moto, also goes by Guy Cooper. He's going to hope that he can latch on to Huffman and go to the front.
Yeah, he's obviously riding better this moto. I think that took him a little bit of time in the first moto to get adapted, but it looks like he's riding well.
But Mikhail Pichon is going to hope that he can follow all those lines. Well, look at Guy Cooper. He's not giving up so easily. He's going to see if he can stay after the Frenchman and keep up here and keep his chances alive for a podium finish. Pichon right now is in 5th place, Cooper in 6th. We'll go to the front and take a look at the interval. There's our leader, Robbie Raynard, on the Kawasaki. Then you'll see the Honda. That is Steve Lamson, not in contention, but there is 2nd place right now, Brian Swink. We don't know how many laps Lamson's down, but he's trying to score some points. There's 3rd place, Damon Huffman, and right on his heels, Mikhail Pichon. Let's watch Huffman and Pichon go through this first turn.
Yeah, these guys here, it looks like Pichon may push Huffman up into Swink and the other riders, and that's what they need to do.
Well, we can tell by that locator shot that all these guys still have a chance at winning this race. There's plenty of time to go, and here comes Pichon up the inside, but no, it doesn't look like he had the kind of drive he wanted.
Yeah, Huffman's been using that outside line all day. Maybe he just feels like he can carry a little more speed, but Pichon is definitely staying right behind him.
This is going to be a great battle. These two guys are very talented. You know, they have a similar style. You said earlier they don't seem to use a lot of energy on the bike like that guy, Robbie Raynard.
Yeah, these guys don't look like they're using a whole lot of energy. You know, there goes Lamson. That's a good example. But Raynard looks like he's using a little bit more. But if he can last for that 30 minutes, hey, if it works, use it.
Brian Swink is a rider that must be happy with his position at the moment. But look at there. Pichon goes through for 3rd place.
Yeah, it looks like he tried that left-hand side there going down that straightaway coming out of the bottom. And then, but maybe Huffman's just going to lay back and wait till the end. I don't know.
Well, this guy's not laying back and waiting for the end, although he does look very smooth right there. You'd never know that is the leader. He has such a style that looks like he's not even going fast. Robbie Raynard holds down the lead.
Yeah, Robbie's in a good position right now. He just needs to kind of race against that imaginary guy in front of him to keep him headed forward.
Well, that is a great way to motivate yourself, thinking that there is an imaginary rider there. But this guy, he looks so smooth. He looks like he's working. Does he stand up more than the other guys maybe through that section?
Well, he just like I said, before I said he was using all kinds of energy, but here he's not using any at all. He's been really smooth, and that's what he needs to do, is to save that energy before the end of the moto, because these other guys are riding really hard.
Brian Swink, 2nd place, but Mikael Pichon has closed that gap in the matter of a half of a lap. Pichon right now, probably the fastest bike on this track. Let's check in with Art.
Marshall, this is more of what you expected out of Brian Swink in this moto.
Yeah, the first moto we had a little problem with suspension. We got it straightened away this moto, and hopefully we can catch in on the leader and come out with the win.
You got enough time. You got plenty of time.
Yeah, there's still about 9 laps left, so we just got to focus ahead and look for the win.
Brian Swink right now, it's probably got to be more worried behind him. Mikael Pichon is putting the pressure on him. He's thinking about catching the leader, but right now, isn't he thinking about protecting 2nd?
Yeah, he is. He's thinking about that, but also he's trying to think about the racetrack also. You can see how slick the track is there and going down.
Well, it looks like Brian Swink, who we thought maybe could make a challenge for the lead, has gone down. We'd call that spinning out in cars. What would we call that on motocross?
Yeah, about the same thing. The back tire basically broke loose and he went around.
Brian Swink, we'll get a chance to look at the replay. What happened, Damon?
Yeah, it just looks like the back end as you can see there, the back end just started washing. There wasn't a whole lot he can do.
Just a little bit too much power on a very slick surface. Brian Swink looked like he was headed for the podium, and there we see Mikael Pichon take him for the position. He's back up and riding. Hopefully he hasn't readjusted those levers when he fell, and he can come home with at least a few points.
Yeah, that was smart with Pichon there. He must have had a big wide view on the racetrack, because you can see he didn't even get close to running into him, so that's really good.
Brian Swink right now trying to salvage something. We're looking here at another guy trying to salvage something after not a great start, and that's Kevin Windham as he makes his way up the... Oh, man, just flips him right over the front of the bike. Youch! That one had to hurt. Kevin Windham, what happened here?
You can see the front end it just went down in the rut, and I don't think he had a clue what was going to happen. It happened so fast. It looked like the front end just got caught in the rut, and over the bars he went.
Looks like a rodeo rider there. Hopefully he is okay. He gets his Yamaha started back up, and hopefully another guy. Boy, there's been a lot of action in moto number 2. Is this because of fatigue?
Yeah, this late in the moto, fatigue is starting to play a part.
Fatigue may be playing a part here for Damon Huffman as Ryan Hughes just bulldozes his way through into 3rd place. And as we now have a chance to look at our Honda field summary, we're going to be back in a moment for the finish.
You've got hopefully got the race won. I think he's probably thinking about last year where he won there at Gainesville in front of those people, and he's getting to do it again for him.
Well, here he comes. He has a chance to come up to the finish line, acknowledge the crowd. He just rolls it out. He had that big of a lead. Robbie Raynard comes home not only with that victory, but with the overall victory here today. Mikael Pichon rolls across in 2nd place. As we have now a chance to look at the final results, Raynard, Pichon, Hughes, Huffman, and Swink in the top 5. 2nd set of 5, Antonez, Cooper, Pingree, Craig, and Mike Brown. Art now has caught up to our winner. Art?
Robbie, you kind of feel like the monkey might be off your back winning the first National 125 after so many injuries and so little practice time.
It feels really good. I went out there and I didn't get the whole shot or anything, but everything went my way. Everybody was just kind of falling out of the way for me, and something happened to Lamson's bike, or he probably would have won, because he's a lot stronger than me right now, and I just got to get back up to where I was. And I feel happy, a lot happy.
Well, relaxation was the key with such a big lead, not to blow it.
Yeah, I got out front and just tried to ride smooth, and if I lost some time, I tried to pick it back up to where I was.
A flawless ride for Robbie Raynard as we look at the overall results. Raynard, Huffman, Pichon, Hughes, and Swink in the top 5. Brown, Pingree, and there's Steve Lamson salvaged an 8th after having that problem. Art?
Mikhail, it was thrilling for you, I know, to see so many passes and to get into second place.
Yeah, I got a bad start, and I was very tired after the first moto. And I'm so happy because it's my first outdoor. And I don't like this track. It's not a good track for me. I don't feel very good physically. I was very tired. The first moto, it was too hard for me. But I'm very happy for me and for my team. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's quite an accomplishment since you've been improving so much in Supercross to make this transition to this kind of a track.
Yeah, it's a big difference between Supercross and outdoor. And I had no ride in motocross since last year when I broken my wrist. So for me, it's the first race in outdoor since 6 months. And I'm very happy for that. It's wonderful.
Mikhail Pichon comes in 3rd place in the overall standings. Of course, these standings the same as the overall victory here, seeing as there was only 1 round.
Yeah, I think Robbie Raynard, Steve Lamson, and Pichon rode really good. It seems like those guys are real consistent all day. But again, you know, Steve Lamson had the trouble with the wheel braking, and as in the 250 class, those guys had some problems too. But all about it sets the precedence for the 125 National Series.
For Jan Beekes, Damon Bradshaw, and Art Ekman, so long, everybody.